Welcome to episode 2 of Creative Juices. I am your co-host, Marcus Schilling.
I am your co-host, Camilla Udén, and we have our guest.
That's me, David.
Welcome, David, to Creative Juices.
Thank you. Yeah.
We love to have you here.
Thank you very much.
We're going to talk about creativity and your creativity.
I'm pleased to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah, so we're trying to find local artists and creative people, and also worldwide creative people. And you can contact us to our website, www.creativejuices.se.
Or you can contact us in info@creativejuices.se.
We've got an Instagram, which is Creative Juices. You'll find us on there. A Spotify, I hear that's live.
Yeah, that's live. Also, Creative Juices.
And the YouTube, where you may be watching us now. So, what we say with we'll start this one off.
Yeah. Okay. So, David, who are you?
I am David. I am a sculptor, and I work with clay, and I work with bronze, and occasionally I work with jasmonite. And I work primarily with figurative sculpture. So I think the basis of everything I do is usually the human shape. But it doesn't necessarily mean the human shape. It also reflects human behaviour and the way we interact with people as well. So it's a combination of things. Sometimes I do stuff which is really figurative, and sometimes it's more abstract and more intuitive. So I do a bit of both. So I play around, basically, is what we do, isn't it?
Yes,
We don't take life that seriously.
No, exactly. What would be life if we didn't play around?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm thinking, as I am a British person living in Sweden now, for 20 years, I believe you beat me on that.
Well and truly.
But before you came to Sweden, were you creating in bronze or with sculptures then when you were in England?
No, do you know, I came here, I wasn't an artist in any way, shape or form. I was 23 when I came here, and that was back in 1987, so it was a long time ago. And I'd lived in a family where I had a very creative sister, and she was the one that was the creative one, so I didn't really know I was a creative person. And that came later. It sort of popped out and it grew later.
So was it did it help you moving to another country, like possibly physically away from your sister?
From my sister,
probably. This is where I can do myself, kind of like a flower being replanted into another pot.
It was a very organic process. I used to work in Vin & Sprit. It's where we import the wines and the spirits, and I was a quality controller, and so I used to sit. I have one aspect of my job every week. It was quite boring. I'd sit in a little room by myself, and when they needed to start production, I'd cycle out on a little bike armed with a wine glass, and I'd taste the wine, and I'd say, yeah, that's good enough, now you can start. And I'd go back into my little hut, and I'd sit there for 45 minutes. So, and after a while I started thinking I was a bit bored, so I started sketching, and I just sketched and sketched and sketched, and it kind of sort of fell into place. And after a while, I realised that I've got to work with something more creative. I can't just sit and drink wine all day. So so after that, I started looking, but more as an illustrator, as a creative in that respect. So sculpture came later.
Yeah, was it something that you thought that you could work with as a job, as like a full-time thing, or were you thinking of it purely as this is a pastime that I want to explore more? Or were you thinking this is what I want to work with?
In the beginning, definitely it's just a pastime, but then no, it began to grow. I've got to do something, and I managed to blag my way into a job as an illustrator, and I worked for 12 years as an illustrator. 12 long years, and I was doing okay. I was doing fine, but I never really felt like I was an illustrator. I was doing the work, and it was okay. There was no problem in that respect. But I just had this back in my mind, this feeling that this isn't it. And then I went on a course to learn about painting, to develop that side. And a part of it, one little part was sculpture, and it was like, this is it. Found it straight away, and it was like
that was the puzzle. A little bit of puzzle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
It just fell into place, and that was it. So
cool.
And so from then on, it's just I'm going to do sculpture, and it's not like you jump in and think, oh, I'm going to make loads of money as a sculptor. That's it.
No, exactly.
It's not the...
That's another question.
I embrace poverty as well.
The idea of sculpting in bronze as well as a material.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something which is costly. It's very heavy. It's a very heavy material.
You don't actually sculpt in bronze.
You do the sculpting
you do it in a wax or a clay. But it's expensive, definitely.
But having that as a medium. So how did it come about that you thought, okay, clay and illustrations and the ideas, but then taking it the next step? To bronze. To bronze.
Once I realised I was a sculptor, which I kind of did quite early. I realised I was a sculptor, even though at the beginning, the beginning of your career, you're pretty crap. But it's just like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I realised then, and I had in the back of my mind I wanted to do bronze sculptures. So it was an ambition. And it is a time-consuming process, and it takes loads of effort and loads of different steps in this process. So it's not something you just jump on a bandwagon and go and do. But I was lucky because I applied to an art school, and I didn't get in, and I was so upset, and I was so disappointed. And my clever wife said, "Oh, don't worry, there'll be another thing that comes along." And I was distraught, and I thought, this is awful. I didn't know she was already planning that we were going to move away for a few years and live in another country. She's devious in that way. So she started planting these seeds about, perhaps we can go to Mexico and work in Mexico because there's a foundry in Mexico where you can do bronzes. And I thought, this sounds interesting. So we ended up, loads of things that fell into place, leaving and living in Mexico for 4 years. And I worked in a foundry. And I did my own sculptures, and I was part of the foundry process and the bronze making process. And so, it was a cheap way in. Things are cheaper in Mexico. I couldn't afford to do it in Sweden. Couldn't afford to do it in the UK. But in Mexico, it's suddenly accessible, and once you're in, you're in. So that's how it started. So it's just luck and a devious wife.
Well, that's totally thinking. Like there's always signals and always ways in, and
things happen. Small signs. You just have to follow them. The crumble.
Yeah. True. I mean, you put out this just sort of thought into the universe that something will happen, and somehow you end up drifting towards it. And you can fight against it if you want. But it's once it's out there and you visualize it, then things tend to go in that process anyway. So
and that's cool. That's one of the things we've been talking about a lot on other episodes.
And we talked about also last episode. We talked about age and creativity. And we were talking about, like, do we actually think that you get less and less creative as you grow, or is it just that you get more responsibilities and more, like, maybe you get distraught because you get judged for something and you think, no, I can't do this, and then you just drop it, or like how? And what do you think about that? How do you see age being a factor?
I mean, age. I came to sculpture quite late in life. I wish I discovered it earlier. Because by now, if I'd started when I was 25, just think how. But you come to it when you come to it. I think coming to it late gives you more of a focus and a passion as well. I mean, I've reached the age where I don't want to do anything else. I know what I want to do. So in that respect, I'm more focused on sculpture. I don't think your creativity is often based on your life experiences as well. So the more you have, the more you can play around with, and the more you can express as well. So I don't think it's a bad thing to come to art late. Better late than never, isn't it? So
no, exactly. We were thinking about the same thing and the same kind of theories, but people who don't dare to do anything different, don't dare to break the mold and try something new when they get to an old age, to be feared to being judged or to whichever. But usually maybe it's like other kind of artistic pursuit. Maybe they think, I can't get on a stage and sing my songs, at the age of 50 or whichever. But maybe sculpting is something where you say it's the more life experience you have, the more you can bring to it. But if you could talk to your younger self, and let's say you when you were 23 and got here, and you could give that person advice and say, get into sculpting, what would you say to the person?
Yes, I wouldn't, I definitely say go to the schools. That helps you. I'm kind of self-taught, so that's always makes it a little bit difficult to get public work, arts and things like that. So going to the schools is good, but just find the joy for it. Maybe the time wasn't right for me earlier either. I had kids who were quite young at that stage, so when the kids are a bit older, I could be a bit more selfish and have more time for myself. So what advice would I give to myself? I don't know, listen a bit more to what's going on around you, and maybe be prepared to. I like you talking about, I do love a comfort zone, so I can quite happily hide in a comfort zone. So try to maybe don't be in a comfort zone too
but it's maybe good to hide in a comfort zone for a time. Charge your battery, and then when you're ready to unleash it out into the world, then they're like, okay, now it's the right time.
Exactly.
And the universe will give you those signals.
I mean, a sculpture in a way is like a comfort zone. In a way, you were talking about singing and stage in front of people. That's for me, is just trauma. That would terrify me. No way I'd do that. But to stand up and do a sculpture, it's not so much an huge emotional investment in that respect. You don't have to put yourself in a situation which is scary as hell. You can just get into your own little space and create.
Yeah, we also talked about when you create, you often create from your soul. It's something that's sparked in you that you got inspiration from, or the creativity juice from, and then you make something of it, and then you have to show it to someone, and you might get judged because it's and that's scary. That could be scary because it's from your soul, but it could also be it is what it is. How do you feel in that regard?
I haven't been affected too badly about feeling judged. I quite enjoyed in the shows. I mean, I worked for a while. You're treated differently when you're suddenly the artist as well, which is lovely and gratifying. Because I could be in a show and people would always be timid to come and talk to you because you're this big artist. And then the next day, because I was working 2 days a week for the post office, I was postman, and people didn't even see me. And it's like that contrast, where you are in a certain situation, here you're seen, here you're invisible. And I kind of enjoy being seen with my sculptures, because once I got to the stage where I could start showing, I was quite proud of them. So it wasn't something I need to feel judged on. You judge as much as you like, because I'm quite content with what I produced.
But when you're there and you're at your exhibitions and things which are being out, do you find that the sculptures are reflecting you in a way that you can't say and describe to people, or maybe it isn't even tangible, but when you're there, does it feel like they're a reflection?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I find sometimes that I can do a sculpture and I kind of see it all the time. You can also, when you're working on something, you get blind to it as well. So there's loads of faults that you just keep working with, and you don't change them because you're blind to them. But when I present something to someone else, it's kind of like when they look at it, I see it through their eyes. I suddenly see it in a slightly different way, and so that is a healthy thing. Sometimes it's I didn't think about that, or that was interesting. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's like I'll see it in another way when it's in the
another
studio.
Perspective.
I think it's a good time to bring about one of my favorite pieces, which I've seen at all the exhibitions I've seen, with the woman holding up here and then the man holding outstretched. We can have a visual picture of it on the screen now. But what's the name of that piece?
I have terrible problems with names, because I'll give it a name and then I'll forget what it was named at one show, and then I'll have to think, oh Christ, what was it called? So I can give it another name. But this has always been volanda, which is flight or flying. So it's but it was also, for a while, it was called balance, because it is about balance. And for me, because I can have my flights of fancy sometimes, and I just fly off, and Monica can sort of pull me down, my wife, and say, behave now, think differently. And so it was kind of that I was thinking when I created it.
Exactly, that was your inspiration and your idea of that. But over the years that's been in exhibitions, what are a few of the things that people have come up to you and said, "Oh, I think this looks like this"?
Yeah. Oh, I had one. It was this woman that came up to me, and it is a man who's flying off, and his arms are outstretched. And she'd lost her husband recently, and she was still in this grieving process, and she couldn't let go of him. And when she said that, it was like I melted when I heard that, because it's so much more interesting than what I was suggesting, what I was presenting, and that shows you that the art is what you take to it. You know, it's nothing to do really with what I create as an artist. It's what you look at and what you see and what you perceive when you see it. You know, what emotions does it wake in you as a viewer, which is interesting. So yeah, that was a fantastic example of that. I've had another series as well, Adaptions, and this is based on human interactions basically, and it's less of the figurative work, it's a bit more abstract, and that, for me, becomes a lot more intuitive when I'm working abstract. And so it's all about the way these figures interact, and I'm trying to use the way these figures, which are shapes, they're not human figures, how the way they interact is meant to reflect something going on between two people at the same time. And I had one guy, similar thing, who'd come in and lost his wife, and he saw the same thing in this. There was something in one of these big sculptures which just spoke to him. It was him and his wife together. And you know, it's touching when it happens. Like that. You can affect something.
A wonderful feeling to see that something you've created that, and it's awoken something like such a strong feeling.
Nice,
the person there, and then they can express that to you. Like you're making a big difference in people's lives.
It's a gift they give me when they take things like that. Total gift. Yeah, that's fantastic.
I think it's quite the same. I love dancing.
Yeah.
And when you dance, you also want to convey a feeling, convey something in that interaction.
Yeah.
And I saw this dance that was, it was called shadow work.
Okay.
So one person was standing up and the other one was lying down and acting like a shadow.
Oh, right.
And it was really cool to see, because the shadow rose up and tried to hinder the person to go forth and do stuff. And it was really cool, because it can really feel like that sometimes, that your shadows holding your back, and the feelings are there. It's really cool.
And your interactions with other people is you know, reflected so much in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
it really is.
Yeah.
In different parts also, and in different perspectives also.
Yeah.
So it's really healthy to see what our art does to people, and it can be really different.
Yeah.
Depending on life experience, whatever.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That moment when you see people who are genuinely interested in art is a wonderful thing. You see people who just walk in who just don't care.
Yeah.
But then you see somebody who's interested, and that's fantastic. It's a great feeling. So yeah, different interpretations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the other side of this. So we're thinking about people who see your art and that they are inspired, but I think a lot of your work is to do with people, the human figure, even the abstract parts. So in your ways of finding inspiration, finding your creative juices, is there a lot of like people watching? Like, do you observe people?
I do love people watching, I must admit. Yeah, it is great to sit on a train and instead of looking at a telephone, look at people. Oh, that's fantastic. I used to sketch people on trains as well.
Oh, you did?
Really?
Yeah. Every now and then you get busted and you just sort of hide it away. But yeah, so that's a nice thing to do. Yeah, I love people watching. Interactions, things that happen are always interesting.
Is it mostly inspired from like your own life, or is it more like you see something on a movie, or like how do you come to inspiration?
There's lots of different ways to be inspired. I mean, sometimes definitely something that happens that I see, but it can also be sometimes I'm just walking along and I see a place and I think, wow, this would be perfect for sculpture. What would I put in there? And my mind sort of creates a sculpture for that place.
Wow.
Just because it's the absence of something that makes you have a creative thought. And it's a great way to, gives you a starting point as well.
Yeah.
If I was there, what would I produce? So that interactions, conversations can start set you off on what shall I do. This series with adaptions I had, it started with a quote I heard on the radio, and I can't remember the quote exactly, but the words were roughly along the lines of everything you do has an impact on someone else.
I'm getting the goosebumps.
That's great.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, and it was like, oh, that is interesting, because I mean, even the things you do subconsciously, or the things that you don't want to have an impact on, everything you do has an impact on someone else, and that makes me suddenly think that we're all sort of not just sort of connected emotionally, almost like we're physically connected when it is like that.
yeah,
Because I push you, you move,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
And then I'm gonna push you because I'm right beside you.
Exactly, yeah. And be nice to take that show that pushing that comes into a sculpture. So that came from a quote, which was a good way to start a series, and that was quite a long series as well. I'm still playing around with that because I enjoyed it so much. So,
and we talked a bit about how you get inspiration, and sometimes I feel, because I write a lot, and when I get inspiration, I like have to jot it down because I'm on the bus or something, just to remember it later. Do you do the same, or does your like creations come to you like in the moment, and then you have them when you have your clay and you have your...
That's a good question. I mean, sometimes I've got pen and paper with me. I can do a quick sketch. I often start with a sketch, and the sketch is just an idea. It's not exactly how it's going to end off, because I find that once I start the process, it's
it evolves, maybe.
So I'll start with one idea, and then exactly things happen, and you twist it and turn, especially with things that are three-dimensional, because they look perfect when you sketch them. And then when it's three-dimensional, what do you do with the back? So you have to start thinking along those lines as well. So
I'm just thinking of how the Simpsons characters, how they made them in 3D, and they look kind of horrific. There was like demands of making like toys and action figures, or like how do you make it? And they hadn't thought about that. So it's it must be a real challenge to 2D to 3D when it doesn't naturally go that way.
So it's a bit of a challenge when things like that. So sometimes I sketch things, definitely to start off with. But basically, exactly, I'll try and store it in my brain. The sculpture's not maybe as rapid as when you're writing. There's a lot of things flying through your head. When you think of sculpture, there's only one thing, and I'm a bloke, so I can maintain one thought at a time. So I can usually, as long as nobody talks to me before I get to the studio, I should be right.
One bloke.
It's like, I'm focused now. I'm going to the studio, nothing else.
The man from the Bronx. No, well, we had that also as a question for everybody we're going to interview. Is like, what time of day do you find is the best to sit with your creative ideas? So to sit in the studio, since you have one, is it more an early morning person, or is it the middle of the day, or are you thinking like evening time
or nighttime even?
Well, our family motto is carpe diem. Ours is carpe meridianus. Which means seize the afternoon. So we're definitely not morning, definitely not going to happen. But often evenings is when I usually am best. Those are the most distractions though, because you should go home and do other stuff, or but that's when I'm at my best, when certain times pass and the evening comes in and it's dark, and that's when I find that I really relax into it. And
do you have like a routine, or does it come organically for you?
I am pretty much a routine. I mean, I sculpt every day basically. So I mean, it can vary when I get down to the studio, but I walk the dog first thing in the morning, first thing in the afternoon, and then I'll sit 6 or 7 hours in the studio, even if nothing's happening. I'll still sit there and think or do something, or so I'm in the right place. So I'm actually in the place of creativity.
So whenever it hits you, you're there. You can start. I
mean, it's not being hit, is because sometimes it's just a discipline thing. Sometimes it's just get yourself going. It's like, come on, David, get into action now. So you need sometimes you need some kind of defibrillator to get you going and start you up so you can start sculpting. So I can be a bit slower than that, but once I get going, like today I had a fantastic day. I enjoyed it so much, and time kind of disappears.
You're in the flow.
I'm in the flow. and you're not hungry, you're not thinking about cups of tea or anything. It's just working, and it's lovely when it's like that. It's beautiful. It's meditative.
Yeah.
So that you disappear into your creativity. And I think that writing maybe is harder to be meditative. I don't know, I'm just throwing this out as a theory, but when you're sculpting, it is so focused on one thing that it is easier maybe just to lose yourself in that. It doesn't demand too much thought process. It demands finger process, which is
so you can disconnect. You have the idea there, but you can disconnect, and all of it is in your hands. And that's doing the thinking for you.
They're off.
That's really interesting, because I find the same when I'm writing.
All right.
I can really go into the flow, and it just flows. Like the words just flow out of me. It's like, and often it's not words per se in my head, but it come out as words, and then I have to go through.
So you think the thought, emotions or feelings?
And pictures and colors and stuff like that, and then it just. Like it's a scenery, and then it just comes out as words, and then I have to go through it later on to see is this readable? Can people understand when they read this? But that's how it comes through me.
Does it feel like it comes from you, or is it sort of, as you said,
like,
through?
It's like through me. It's like I just print it, but it just appears.
That sounds great.
But it's the crumbs. It's like it's a thought, a feeling. It could be something happening. You're on the bus and you see something like, wow, this is. And then,
and so you've seen it on the bus, it's sort of being sort of stored in your brain. So when you let it open, it's just opening a tap, possibly.
But it's more like I need to remind myself that I had an idea. So I always have this little book with
always
me.
Good to have a sketchbook.
I always have this one.
Very good.
And it's pink because I like pink.
Pink's good.
So I write a couple of words down just to get me going, just to know that when I sit and I read this, I'm gonna understand what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's the tap. Then it's like.
Do you ever forget you've got loads of things you've written down, and then you get back and think, what the hell was this all about?
Well, it did happen. It has happened. That's why I'm more better at describing it now. Actually, but and sometimes it's just I had this weirdest dream that also created a poem.
Okay.
It was like it was just. It just said, it was in my head, it's just a voice saying, everything is all right. We are black, blue, white, and red. And we are all one. That was all it said in my dream. And I woke up and I wrote it down, and then it became a poem.
Fantastic, isn't it? That's great.
It's strange, but it was profound.
That must have been great. Paul McCartney did that, didn't he? He wrote Blackbird. He wrote.
Exactly. He had it, and he woke up and he was like, "I have to write it all down straight away." And then he was like, "Yeah, it just came to me in a dream."
Yeah, fantastic. That's nice to experience that. That's
but I'm also triggered by you talking about just being in an empty space and what is missing or what should be here. That is also so, because we talked about like in the pauses sometimes of life when you miss the bus or you are like waiting for something, and you just have a pause in the to-dos and pause, and then it comes to you
unexpected. Right. Yes, that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
I do a cheap plug here. My photography thing on Instagram is called Between Spaces Photography, which is exactly that concept. It's the things in between the things that you should be looking at, which the beauty can be in those ones, or it could be the actual space itself. Which is the place. We were talking about music before. We talked about Paul McCartney writing Blackbird. Is music an important part of the creative process for you? Do you have music on in the background when you're working, or is it a silent space where?
No, sometimes. Sometimes it's music. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of discussions, lots of programs about, I don't know, history and things like that I can get into. I'm half listening. So I can pick up bits when I get home and got interesting facts, but I can't remember the whole thing because I got lost in doing something. But sometimes, and music is, I find that I listen to music, or I choose music more when I'm doing this intuitive sort of abstract stuff.
Okay, that's really interesting. Sometimes
it is what's going on there. But when I'm doing the more figurative stuff, then I suppose conversations are the human voice. I love the human voice. I think that's what it is. The human voice is always.
And you get more logic when you hear someone else talking.
So music definitely is part of it, but the human voice, I think, is more important when it comes to sculpting.
Interesting.
And sometimes silence as well. Sometimes just working in silence is just nice as well. It's not something I don't usually plan to do, but something ends and I haven't noticed it, and then I'm just working, and then your own thoughts are coming out while you're sculpting as well, which is kind of beautiful as well, isn't it? So that's a good thing to do as well. Let your thoughts run as well. It doesn't have to be about sculpture. It can be anything. You know, what's going on in your life. You know, what's going on in the world. But just let happen.
Well, it's a meditative process. You're meditating without realizing it, and then getting to a higher plane or a different plane. And then you get the thing of, the music ended half an hour ago. I'm just realizing now I'm sitting in silence, but it's been wonderful. That's good.
So it's nice to have sound anyway, thing as well. So but do you have music when you write and when you take photographs, or what's your thought?
No, we were talking about it on another podcast, which may or may not come out after this one. In the order of things. But I said, today I've actually come up with a music playlist to go through, to have of songs and bits of music which have helped me previously become creative, that I've associated maybe like Sunday mornings and doing things there. So putting them all together and maybe having them on repeat, because I do a bit of writing and stuff as well, and trying to get that out as a creative thing, maybe not to do anything with it, but just to have it as an outlet. And I find that having these kind of familiar types of music helps me a lot, kind of get into a meditative trance in a way, to be able to do that when time is permitting. There's usually so many other distractions going on in life, it's hard to find the time to do those things.
That's why I was asking about the routine. Is that because I've heard that before, routine is a good frame to be creative. Inspiration can come into the space when there is space.
I think it's very individual though. I mean, some people just are more in need of an inspiration, or others just work through it with sweat and tears kind of thing. Roald Dahl, he used to, every morning at 8 o'clock, he'd walk to the shed at the end of his garden and he'd sit there writing until 5 o'clock, and then he'd come out, and next day he'd go down at 8 o'clock in the morning. So he had such a discipline when he was working. I think I think maybe I'm more on that side of the scale, but I need some kind of regularity at least. But other people just need inspiration. So I think it's so individual creativity. And going back to what you were talking about as well, you talk about that process with your music. When you have a creative thing without a goal, I think is wonderful as well. It doesn't have to be that you're going to have a show or that you're going to do
no, exactly.
You know, it's just
there's so many different types of things, especially in my life, and I think that's true for many people in the modern world, that we have so many different things going. So it's good to have one thing you can put a lot into, which doesn't have to have a goal, or we have to have 5,000 words written by the end of the week. Because I think that kind of pressure, I mean, as you said, some people it might work for. I think most people, I'm going to say a broad strokes here, a pressure to be creative, I don't think those two things go together.
Exactly.
You have to go at your own pace, and if you create something, you do, and if you don't, then you don't, and that's something else. But that's what I believe.
And I think it's as you said, it's different, and I also think it can be different for different times in your life also. Like sometimes you just need discipline because you've been undisciplined for too long.
That's true.
And then you need something to hold on to. Maybe you need that torch in your ass just to get going, or it's like just get to the shed, start writing, whatever comes out, and then leave it. But and sometimes it's just I really feel it right now. I need to get going now because I feel it right now.
Yeah.
And it could be different, I think.
But I have those feelings of urgency sometimes when I've got a show or something, and that's pressure. Yeah. But the other ones is when I've got this idea and I just want to do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And they're both same. They're very similar. Yeah. Because it's a drive that you have to do.
Yeah.
But one is more based on enjoyment and just fun, and the other one is, oh Christ, I've got to do this, otherwise I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that finding that because everyone is creative.
Right.
Everyone is creative.
Exactly.
How you work with your Excel document at work, or how you stack the wood pile, or something like that.
Yeah.
Everyone is creative.
Yeah.
But we don't know we're creative necessarily.
No, exactly. And I think we confuse parts of that as well. We confuse like, okay, these things have to be done, or I do this because, or maybe certain tendencies like to make things in orders. It could be any range of things, but sometimes we don't label it as creativity. Sometimes people think it's foolish or silly or childish to continue with these urges, but I think it's something we should encourage more in society, in like every aspect.
Do you mean the person doing it can have those feelings? Or
they can have the feelings, or maybe people in their immediate surroundings.
Okay.
It could be like family members. It could be anything. It could be like close friends. It could be like, oh no, you're going to audition for Idol next year. You're too old. Not that I'm going to do that, but if you see me on the stage, over it.
But it's so much fun to because I heard a song. Yes, it's a new song. But it was a couple of years ago, I think. It's called Daydream.
Right.
And I don't remember the name of the artist because I'm not good at names, but she talks about or sings about this, like, you're young and you can be like astronaut and no one's gonna stop you because you can be whatever you want to be, and then you grow up and you are taking your second hand choice and you're making it because you just need the money. And like no one's gonna stop you when you're little, but why do we stop each other when we're older?
That's
right?
True.
Like why can't we just, and I was gonna ask you, like, do you ever create just to create, or is it always because you want to sell it or like show it or
show it? I mean, I am a sculptor. I just have to sculpt. So I mean, the end goal. I mean, I'm not desperate to sell my sculptures. I'd rather have them at home because I can look at them myself. Every now and then I have to sell a few. So it's but it's not the main goal. It's the actual creative process is more interesting. So when I start, I think if you focus too much on a goal of you're going to sell stuff as well, then you kind of put a fence in front of you as well. It makes it harder to go forward. You put too many sort of expectations on yourself.
Maybe you can't be as open or as like free in your sculpting when you do that. You narrow it down. But then there's also, I mean, it varies as well. I mean, there's times when I know I've got a show, which is good because then I've got that pick up the bumps and I can get something done. And once you start a series, you begin to understand it, and then they're always developing. I work with a series when I do stuff, so I'll do one sculpt and I'll think, okay, how can I tweak that? How can I adjust that? And that in itself is such a fun process because you're doing the same thing but different every time, and so that gives you that sort of enjoyment in what you're doing, and it's still new and novel every time you do a sculpture, even though it's not a thematic on the same thing. But once that's what it is. Going back to it earlier, I jumped into my comfort zone then. So I've created my first sculpture. This is my comfort zone, so I'm flying in and do loads more of those. So that's a nice process as well. Sorry, I forgot what the question was.
No, but as you were saying before, I don't wandered up your question, and it's good to wander. It's good to take a line. As we had mentioned. But your question was also like, if you're working towards the goal of selling something, then you've been pigeonholed into like what is popular right now. What do people want to buy? What is most likely to sell? And therefore, it will degrade on your creativity. You can be like, or subconsciously or consciously going towards, people will buy this, so this is what I have to do.
Exactly. If you sell one, you think, oh, that's it, that's the goal. Make those and I'll make money. It's a trap.
Exactly.
It's a trap,
and also like
it's a nice trap, but it's
it's like the opposite of creativity, and in a way, if you found something there but then you're just mass producing, to a way something similar, then you've lost what the idea was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and then you water it out. I think the idea, the frequency, the energy of that thing, you water it out.
Eventually, you just do the same thing over and again, so it just becomes meaningless. That's true. Yeah. But it also limits you to. I mean, it's nice to sell, of course, and know that you can get some money from it. But I think I'd go mad if I spent too long doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I have this need to tweak it and do something completely different, and just try another angle or test myself in a different way. But there are people who just find their niche and they do their own thing, and that's fine if it's good for them. But I think I'd go nuts if I had to do that. So
I think it's fine. I mean, it depends exactly what the medium is. I mean, people who work with pottery usually try and perfect a certain type or certain style that they do, and they do reproduce very many of the same types. As also as laymen looking at it, I think, okay, they've done the same one but different color variant. But then again, that's their joy is maybe in perfecting a certain craft of doing that in the same way. By hand.
When you put it, I can buy it when you put it like that, because I can relate to that as well to a certain extent.
Right, because we can't judge who finds it creative and what. Some people are, it's going to be very different from what it did last time. Other people are like, I'd like to perfect, what I'm doing with a specific thing.
And that has its pleasures. Definitely. I mean, it does. I used to be years ago when I was younger. My sport was archery. I used to shoot bows and arrows. Love it. And that was also sort of an individual thing. It's not a team sport, and it's very also can be meditative as well. And it's all about doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And your goal is to do it exactly the same every time.
Yeah.
And yet when it comes to art, then I battle with that, but I still have a bit of that in me, that I can have that, just do the same thing over and over again, small tweaks, but just to perfect that process as well.
Do you feel like you've evolved? Do you feel like you're putting yourself in a place where you're growing all the time in your creativity? And
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I find I've worked figuratively, and then I get this urge to go and be something a bit more abstract, so I hop into the abstract world for a while and do abstract stuff. And I find the more I do the figurative, the further I get thrown into the abstract when I jump from it. So it's sort of they're two parallel paths, but they're stretching apart like that. So it's so the one gives energy to the other in a certain extent. Yeah. So and the figurative stuff is a bit more like using the bow and arrow. You're doing the same thing again. A face is a face. You're just trying to make it look like a face. Whereas the abstract stuff that's when you're jumping out in the comfort zone and playing around with.
Do you feel they are polarities, or are they just different perspectives, or like?
I mean, it's to a certain extent there are polarities. Getting more and more so, I think. But it's also you still need the same sort of skill set. So it's the same. I mean, you're using your hands. It's the same. You're using the same process in these things, but one's more of a letting your brain do more work, and the other one's just letting your eyes do more work. And the intuitive one, that's your brain is finding balance, it's finding harmony, and it's trying to put that into shape. Whereas the figurative one is just using the eyes and looking, is that right? And sure, you still got to, with the figurative stuff, you've still got to find a pose that's interesting. So there's that part of it. But in general, it's eyes and brain in the two of them. So
that's really good.
It's really good.
So David, something I've been enjoying watching, and all the Christmas period going up to from the 1st until the 24th, you had a series on Instagram.
In my advent calendar.
It was brilliant. Are you going to do it next year as well?
I definitely am. Yeah.
And for people who haven't seen it, we're going to have a clip.
I'm David, Clarita is my basset hound, and we're going to look at a new sculpture every day until Christmas. It'll be fun.
Okay, today I've got some real drama for you. This one's marvellous. This is a piece by Anders Wissler and Win Maria Toriet. I love this piece. When I first saw this piece, I just assumed it was St. George and the Dragon. And as soon as I saw it, I couldn't help it, but I instantly felt sorry for the dragon, and I wanted the dragon to win. Especially when you realise that the dragon's here defending its small children. But of course, that's not what it is. This is from Norse mythology. This is actually Thor with his hammer Mjolnir fighting the Midgard serpent. And according to mythology, they met on 3 different occasions and had 3 different battles. The first one was a draw. The second one, Thor tries to fish the Midgard serpent out of the war. And this is what this represents. So this is called Thor's Fisker, or Thor's fishing. The third time they met, it was during Ragnarok, and they both killed each other. So no happy ending, which is pretty sad. So, but still, it's such an imposing, powerful piece. But what is even more interesting when you delve into the mythology is that if you might have seen the Marvel films, Thor and Loki are brothers. That's not true. Loki was actually the brother of Odin, which is the father of Thor. But Loki was also the father of the Midgard serpent. Don't ask me how that happened. I have no idea. So this means basically that these two are first cousins. And you just want to scream at them. There must be a better way of resolving conflict than using violence. Can you imagine this family around the Christmas dinner table? Like I said, drama. So basically, walk past this one and enjoy it. And you might be like me, because forever from now on, I will always be Team Dragon / Serpent. Go Serpents. Well, Jane Clarita, was this a good one? Ah, maybe not. Okay. See you tomorrow.
Do you want to describe a little bit about what you got up to?
Yeah, it's basically myself, camera wife, who is in charge of the visuals, and my basset hound. And we walk around Stockholm, we find sculptures, and we talk about every sculpture that I like, and I'll tell you a bit of the history of it, and I'll tell you the history of the people who made it. Short, and it's just an advent calendar, one every day. You can watch them now, even though it's not Christmassy. So.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I sent them to my sister and some friends back home in England, and they were following them, and they were saying, "Oh, say hi to David from us, and I want to see this. I want to see where it's getting to next." And it's something that I think people haven't done before. And
no, I haven't seen it. I've seen advent calendars, but not for sculptures. No.
Stockholm is such a rich city for.
I love Stockholm. I love Stockholm. I think it's the best city in the world. So it was great. I mean, there's a few sculptures I'd love to have squeezed in, but for certain reasons I couldn't. So though I've got some saved for next year.
Yeah, but think about going to a different city in Sweden and
definitely. Yeah. I've done a few similar sort of things in Finland. I've done a few things, and I've done a few things in Karlstad as well. So different towns. So I'm definitely going to do during the year. I'm going to do a little more of those as well. So
wow.
And but I have learned so much myself from it.
Yeah,
it's been so much fun. And when you see a sculpture, it's so easy, you just walk past them. And again, you get blind to things.
Yeah.
But once you know the story of them, then you have a personal connection to it. And that's what I try to say at the end of it is, if you see a sculpture that tickles your fancy, 10 minutes on the internet, find out the story of it, and you will always feel that you are connected to it. And it enriches you when you walk around the streets. You know those things. So honestly, it's great fun. So
wow.
There'll be more.
Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, David.
It's been great fun. Thank you.
So for the people at home watching this, they want to know where they can find you on the internet, where your links and stuff are.
Sure, I've got a homepage which is wadsworthsculpture.com. I have Instagram, which I think is David Wadsworth Sculpture. I can't quite remember it. Could be I think with David Wadsworth Sculpture.
We can put the links at the bottom of the screen here.
Yeah,
we'll be able to find them.
It's on TikTok, and it's on all the other things which I don't understand because I'm too old. So
well, I haven't even got TikTok. Have you got TikTok?
No,
I've got TikTok.
It's not there.
Creative Juices is not on TikTok, so maybe it's something to look at.
Yeah. So I'm findable. So David Wadsworth Sculpture. That's the best way. Start there, and I'll pop up. So,
Oh, brilliant. So this has been our first interview for Creative Juices. You guys at home, let us know what you think, and where can they reach us if they have any ideas for future people to interview?
You can reach us at info@creativejuices.se, and you can also reach us on our website, www.creativejuices.se.
We have our YouTube channel. Just search for Creative Juices. We've got our Instagram, and I believe, I say this every time, I believe we've got a Spotify up and running.
We do have Spotify up and running as well.
You've been busy, haven't you?
Yeah. So we are everywhere. Everywhere you want us.
Okay, brilliant. Well, see you later next time, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
See you.